Hey, it's Nikki from Two Tribes Primal Living, and I'm going to do a video today talking about happiness and toxicity. And I want you to just kind of open your minds a little bit and just, I don't know, come at this from a big heart, come at this from a space of self-reflection versus reflecting on others. And I think you'll find that the content in this video will be very uplifting and very much something that you can take with you and you can share with those who are also in your life. You know, my husband and I, Albert, we decided a long time ago to start a YouTube channel, and we weren't interested in likes or followers. We were more interested in spreading truth and getting our own knowings out there so that many can hear, so that many can draw from both of our wisdom, not only individually but as a married couple. And he has a very different perspective or journey that he is on compared to mine. And that's not to say we're not on the same journey in terms of being a married couple, but we do come at things a little differently, and then we come back together. We come at things a little differently, and then we come back together. And it's always that coming back together that we seem to do that reveals a happiness within both of us and a comfort. And I'm not talking a complacency, which is a whole different thing. I'm talking a comfort within the two of us that allows us to be who we are, but still be what the other needs as well, if that makes sense. And how is this applicable to happiness, or the what I'm talking about today? Well, that's just kind of to give you an idea of how we approach our videos, whether you're watching one of us talking about our Nordic ancestors, or you're watching one that's talking about our native ancestors, or you're watching one that's talking about our Peruvian spirit guides, or whether you're watching a video that's talking about a past life that we were in, and maybe he was an Irishman or an Irish woman in a past life, and maybe I was a Maori tribesman in a past life. So we don't come at it from any cultural backing, you know. And I know we do get cultural views, which it's fantastic, because it just shows we can open the door for many to come together as what we would call the tribe. He and I are a tribe of two. My mom added, we're a tribe of three. We have a very small tribe, and we operate very, very fluidly that way. So we're not we're not happy in a big group or collective of many people and many perspectives and all those things. We know our truth within. And that's not to say we can't be in a group. It's not to say we don't do well in a group. But it's just we find our truth in our esoteric, I'll say esoteric, our esoteric world, or our knowing from the inside out. And with that being said, he and I have decided to start adding back a little bit more content, more videos, and maybe not making them super long, making them a little shorter, but doing them more frequently. You know, I've had feedback from people that they are a bit long, and that's okay. I mean, you know, if you want to watch half of it, watch half of it. If you want to come back and watch the other half, watch the other half later. But it's, you know, it is not a live video. It is a pre-recorded video. So, you know, just be mindful of that. But other than that, it's that we're just trying to get some different perspectives, some different topics, some different energies of the planet that are going on. Even he and I, we might have differing viewpoints on something, and you know, I might do a video on my viewpoint and he might do a video on his. So today's video is really going to be over toxicity. And I said happiness and toxicity at the beginning, but I'm gonna kind of come at the video toxicity and happiness. So I do a podcast. It's not a weekly podcast, although sometimes I do two a week. Um, I do a podcast. I've got over 100 episodes on that podcast, and if you're interested, you can drop us a comment, and we'll put the link down there for you, so that you can. It's on Podbean, but you can watch our podcast or my podcast, and I cover a lot of topics like I'm going to talk about today. But I did a podcast the other day, episode 87, and I titled it. I think I titled it, "Are You Toxic? Are You Making Yourself Toxic?" or toxicity or something like that. I didn't even put the word happiness in it. But it really gave me cause to reflect and say, it's really important to get the message out there for people who are interested in creating a better life for themselves and their families. And our most important relationship is the relationship we have with ourselves. A lot of people will focus so much of their energy outwardly on others, books they read, events they go to, retreats they attend, gatherings they attend, competitions they attend, whether it's as a competitor or as an observer. They'll attach to all those things. And when they attach to those things, they're really they're giving their energy away. When we need to be focused on putting our energy on ourselves, and so these videos like this one, and like happiness, toxicity, it is going to highlight or focus the self, which is the most important relationship you can have. And then it is going to transcend from within the self to outside the self, and then to our circle, and then on and on and on. So, happiness, and I'll say it right away, and I'll define it here in a second, but happiness comes from within. Happiness is a feeling within. It's not anything that someone else can do for you to make you feel happy. Nobody can make you happy. My husband can't make me happy. I can't make him happy. My mother can't make me happy. My physical fitness can't make me happy. And in what I do, my career choice is I'm a health and wellness and coach and personal trainer, advanced personal trainer. So I tend to focus on older individuals or people with limiting conditions. And a lot of those people may not be in a happy place when they give me a call, but I can't make them happy. And one of the things I do is work with them physically, in the physical, to help them make themselves happy, or to guide them into making themselves happy, which expands beyond the physical body. It really, really does. So one of the things that I look at then is, if I come into their world and I'm happy, then they'll be happy, kind of thing. And it's not that directly, but over time, and they'll we'll have this relationship form, and we get to be happy back and forth, because there's this exchange of energy that comes outside of me. It comes off of me, and it transfers onto them. And this is because I deal with them every day, and I work with them every day, or however many days a week. Even if they're not feeling very happy that day, maybe something I do or say gives them a little bit of hope or gives them a shine. So happiness is something that many, many people strive to have in their life. They want to be happy. This food makes me happy, or this my new relationship. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I found this person, and he makes me so happy, or she makes me so happy. Or you have a new baby, and this baby makes me so happy. Those are all external factors. And happiness is something that comes from within, that is aligned with positive and higher vibrating energies. Whereas anger, or the opposite of happiness, which would be anger or even despondency and irritation and all those things, they're on the lower end of vibrational energies. And I think Albert's talked about that in a couple of videos, but just to re-highlight, energy waves, frequencies, you have a high end and a low end, and they're polemic opposites or poles. And happy and pissed off are opposite ends. And we want to try for health, for wellness, for well-being, for vitality, for energy, for all those things. We want to try to operate up here as much as possible in that higher side of that frequency. And then there's elevated frequency. So you can have a high side of a very low frequency, or you can have a high side of a high frequency. So happiness is something that we come with, that we feel towards a situation, a person, a place, a beverage, or whatever. The feeling of joy, or should I say the emotion of joy, is probably more relative to what we're dealing with in our lives. So me as a person, I strive to find joy and gratitude in every day. Lots of things I'm grateful for, whether it's a moment. I just drove an hour with my husband to go pick up animal feed, and I was joyful. I was joyous. It was pleasant. We had some conversation as husband and wife, and it was a beautiful thing. And I love that about our relationship, because we don't have to speak. We can sit in the car and he can put his hand on my leg and we can just be, and there's joy between us both. We also have the joy of respecting the other. So when the other has an opinion about something that impacts us both, we can say, maybe we need to do this, or I don't like this. And we both do that. We both have things that we might bring to the marriage table, and maybe one of us doesn't like it. Well, we have to reevaluate that and see which is more weighted, which is more about the marriage. And sometimes there are things that we all are supposed to do is we might have to put things on the back burner, or really, is this so important right now that my marriage is worth it? Do I want to do this in my marriage? Will this hurt my marriage? Will it hurt me, in turn hurt my marriage? I mean, there's all these inner factors. So we as a couple try to bring joy to the table every day. He's a lot different than me, so it's not that he's not as vibrant or joyous as I am over things. He has different ways of expressing his joy than I do, and those play into our personalities and personality traits as a whole. So I tend to come at the day with gratitude and joy for being able to sit out here, and the beauty behind me, and this peaceful body of water during the day. There's no boats. I'm very grateful there's no boats running. I'm very grateful there's no noises, that there's just this lapping of water and the birds in the sky, and those things bring me joy, and I'm very much at peace when I'm living in the joy of things. The sun is shining, and whether the sun was shining or not, I would be joyous. If it were a little cooler, I'd be joyous. If it were a little hotter, I'd be joyous. I had a very nice lunch with my husband. I was able to cook for him today, so I felt joyous. I felt joyous that he was able to get off work a little earlier, so I got to spend some time with him, and I love the work he does, because I get to spend time with him. Even if it's just us sitting in the same room, I get to feel his energy, and he's not giving that energy out and away, and then coming home exhausted. He's joyous when he comes home. Sometimes he gets home a little early, but I guess my point is, we find the joyous moments in our day, and as we continue to be happy in those moments, because remember, happy is a feeling. If I look out there and I'm just overjoyed by the sunshine and the way it's making a pattern out there on the grass, and it's beautiful in the trees, and it makes me happy from the inside. It's not that the trees make me happy, or the roots of the trees, or the grass makes me happy, or even the water. It doesn't make me happy. I'm just so full of joy, the high end of the vibration, that I'm able to feel happy. A spouse, a child, a situation cannot make you happy. And you know, I can't say that enough. You cannot, because, and here's the telltale. When that situation, so if you fast forward and that same person that you just met and you're just happy, they make you so happy, does anything wrong that conflicts with maybe your values or your moral systems, something that you don't want them to do, then you're no longer happy with that person. And that's truth. And that's, your happiness changed. Are you still joyful that you've had that relationship with that person, whether it's for 2 years, 2 months, or 55 years? I mean, there are people who have been married a long time and find joy in one another. And this person doesn't bring them happiness, they bring themselves happiness. But they can live in that relationship for 45, 50, 60 years and be in a space of joy. And, you know, that's kind of the telltale. If something is taken away, or they don't act like you want them to, or the situation isn't how, you know, if it was pouring down rain right now, thunder and lightning, would I be less happy? No, I wouldn't. I would still be very happy because I'm living in the joy of nature, the joy of my moment, the joy of what I have available to me right now. And that is what joy and happiness are. Now, when you live in this positivity every day, and I'm not saying that there's not ever conflict in your life, to be able to find joy in your day, like just seeing your spouse walk in the door, that's something that brings me joy every day. Seeing him walk through that door, you know, 4 o'clock is a joyous thing, because he could be coming home at 7 or 8 at night, like some people's spouses. And you know, I guess I would have to figure out how to deal with that, but I am so joyous that that's not me. I don't have to deal with that. And he's never stressed. He's not living in this state of stress or exhaustion. He's vibrant and loving and affectionate, and he comes home and he wants to talk, and he smiles, and he's there present with me, and he's not talking about other people. How was your day, kind of thing. Then I am, you know, I'm just like, I'm happy. I'm very happy. Even if we have conflict, there's, you know, we go back to that joy. You know, I find joy whenever we do have a little conflict, because I trust in his responses. I know him enough that I know how he's got to reflect, and then he'll revisit it, and we'll talk about it. And if it's something he feels strongly about, he's like, we're going to talk about this, we're done. And if it's something that he knows he needs to reflect on, then, you know, he'll be like, I'm not mad, I'm better. So I find joy in that. But when you live in your life day to day in joyous gratitude, over time you start being able to live in the moment, even when shit's falling down around you. And that's not bypassing. It's knowing I can't control all this shit going on around me. I can't control what someone else says or does or doesn't do. I can only live in my peace, and they can do whatever they want around me. And then I become blissful. They can have an opinion. I can have an opinion. We all are granted that sovereign right to opine. And we're all granted the sovereign right to live who we are in our truth. And it's super important to be able to live how we choose on our journey, And again, if you're single, you're on your journey. If you choose to have a partner, your journeys are, if they're not going in the same direction, you probably want to reconsider or rethink what you're dealing with, because are you living your journey? Like, our journeys are going the same direction, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and it's a beautiful reflection. And that brings me not happiness, but it brings me a joyous gratitude for what I have now. I'm not seeking anything else. I don't want more. I know I've won. I don't want a different job. I don't want more money. I don't want a different place. I'm joyous, full of joyous gratitude. And once you start living in that space, you have peace and bliss, and life just kind of, you flow. So that's the first half. The second half is, we all have a choice, and we have a choice to complain. It was funny because we were talking this morning about an individual who was annoying because they were just complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. And this was in the physical. And it's like, why is that person, they just complain and complain and complain. And it's like they are so miserable, they want to bring the house down. Poor you, oh no. And a lot of people who live in this space of peace and joyous gratitude, capability and honor for what they have, they don't tolerate that very well. And I don't mean they're intolerant to it. I mean, they just like, wow, you're suffering. That sucks. Because we get to see, we know what we've gone through, and we get to see this person and I've seen there's a meme somewhere, and it's like this picture of this person who's barely got their head out of water, and save me and all. And then the second picture of that meme is that they're standing in a pool, and they're just like laying back with their head, but their feet are on the ground. And that is a lot of people. That is a lot of people. They have footing. They have all they need. They have all they could ever need. They have more than they need. They have already won. As the Apache says so much, somebody has already won. It's flowing. Why mess with the flow? Know when you've already won. That was a message he really hammered into my soul in the mountains, because it was a message of, these people don't even realize they've already won, and now they're going to struggle because they want more. They want more stuff. They want more money. They want more. They're tired of this. They want this. And it's like hopping, bar hoppers or whatever. People who go from place to place and to try and find the party. But that's not what I'm talking about. So knowing that you've already won is part of living and being appreciative of what you have. So what happens is this person we're talking about, she was very, I guess, complaining. Everything was negative. And you may or may not know people like that, but everything was just negative coming out of their mouth. And I'm not talking truth. I'm talking negative. Oh, I can't do this because my shoulders are, or oh, I got this, and it's just constant negativity. And the people around you may be trying to live happy, or maybe they were dealing with negativity and they came into your space, a collective space, to get away from that negativity, and they're like, oh no, not again. For whatever reason, and then you have strong people who have strong vocals, and they will speak, nut up, baby, get it together, let's go. You're sinking, but you have the rope out and you're sinking, and you have to pull yourself out. There's no one can save you. No one can save any of us. Those types of people, and I'm going to say the vast majority of the planet, is living in their own toxicity when they create stress for themselves by creating all this stuff to do. when they create conflict in their world by not recognizing they've already won, so needing more. People who are addicted, maybe they're addicted to alcohol. They need regular alcohol, or alcohol after work, or to go to the bar and hang out with the bar people. Maybe they need weed. Maybe they have to smoke or do it every day at the same time. Or maybe they need to get online and go shopping every day. And, whatever their addiction is, their addiction can be, you can be addicted to your body. There's people addicted to selfies. There's people who are addicted to drama, emotions. And they are so, like, people will give in to their emotions that they've become addicted to having weird responses to things. There's people who, there's some really weird. We came into contact not too long ago today with a really weird person, and it was like we both picked up on the vibe. Like, that person was really, really strange. Like, that was uncomfortable strange. She was very uncomfortable strange. So we just took our goods and paid for them and left. But people create their toxicity. They create their worlds. They create the level of suffering that they receive. Not because they're looking for that, but because they're not operating with joyous gratitude. They haven't mastered, they can't even conceive of what it must be like to sit in a room full of people who are dramatically all over the place and just sit and be okay with who you are. Or even getting up and walking out. Like, I don't need that energy. And it's not that I am mad, it's that I'm stepping away from all that negative energy, because you guys are on this frequency and I'm on this frequency. Sometimes you can't walk out. Sometimes you're committed. Sometimes you feel obligated, so you stay, but you ride out the wave. Sometimes you can walk out. Sometimes you can say, no, I'm not dealing with this. But as a general rule, the suffering that we endure is our own creation. We create our own toxic situations. We create our own toxic energies that, when we think all the toxic thoughts, poor me, that's as toxic as it gets. Poor me. And that's what's going on the planet right now. You have a lot of people in this poor me, oh my gosh, what if I don't do this? What happens? They're in this state of fear, and so fear is going to come to them. More stories are going to be heard of fearful stories, more, and they're just going to, they're going to start taking it in, and they're going to be so frightened and so negative that they can't help but create a toxic environment for themselves in that moment. So just like when you live in a state of joyous gratitude, you end up in this blissful, peaceful place where you can transcend any of the bullshit. You can just transcend it. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't hit you. It's not like, did you hear what she said? Oh my gosh. You don't care. You just transcend that stuff. When you're living in a state of toxicity, you go the opposite direction. You break down. You get sick. You have drama. I read something yesterday. It was, if you speak your truth, don't speak truth from a space of hate or lower vibrations, but speak truth. And if anybody gets angry at you for speaking your truth, their anger is not because you're saying something wrong. Their anger is because it's a reflection for them, and they're either living a lie, or they're potentially going down a lie, or they're trying to validate a lie. There's no telling. So when you live and speak your truth, you live in joyous gratitude. You have to. When you're living a lie, you have a lot of conflicts. You have a lot of negativities. You have addictions to, again, you have addictions to weed, you have addictions to alcohol, you have addictions to pornography, you have addictions to shopping, you have addictions to gambling, you have addictions to the gym. That is not a healthy addiction. Any addiction, it creates problems within others in your world. Yes, it creates financial problems. So someone who's addicted to the gym, if their wife is pissed off because they're always gone to the gym, or they're hanging out with people that are not, they're shady, or they're doing work that has no integrity behind it. You know, those are frustrations, and shows that what's being done is creating conflict. And when what's being done is creating conflict that really permeates the house, then that conflict becomes toxic. And so through the addictions, you create a toxic environment even more. So not only is what you're doing toxic, but it creates more toxicity within, more conflicts, more arguments, more stonewalling. A lot of people stonewall. Some people call it ghosting, but it's just like someone shuts down and just leaves, and you're just like standing there going, hey, can we talk about this? And you know, that happens, and it happens at work, in work relationships, it happens in marital relationships, it happens in parent relationships. I've seen parents and kids separate because one of them stonewalled, or they both stonewalled. Brothers, sisters. I mean, it's not a marriage thing. It is a relationship thing. And you know, we create our own toxicity. We create the environment we have around us. So if our life sucks, if our life is, you know, so much pain, so much this, I'm not going to live, life sucks, how come I can't have this, how come these people, where's my, I don't have any money, I don't have any food, I don't have any money for alcohol, life's not fun, all these negative things, then we're actually creating a toxic environment. And it's very hard to enjoy poison. I mean, it's hard to drink poison and not feel like you're going to die, because you're probably going to die. So when you drink your own poison, you know, and a perfect example would be, here's a toxic situation. Let's say you're a married woman and you have grown children, but you feel like you have to give to those children, and you have to give to your parents, and you have to go get this person, and you got to take this, and you got to show up for this, and you've got this schedule of all these things, and you know, you're exhausted at the end of the day, and your husband's like, hey, hi, and he's trying to love on you, and he's trying to be affectionate. You just don't have time for him. Like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. You know, you're doing a disservice to yourself, and you're doing a disservice to your husband. You're doing a disservice to all the family members that you're enabling and you're taking care of. You know, some people are service people, and I get that, but you have to prioritize service, and you have to serve self before you can serve anybody else. Self comes first. Again, self comes over your kids. I'm not talking about the safety and security of your kids that are living in your house, that are youth, that are legally, you are responsible for them. I'm talking about people, you know, I'm talking about people giving to their adult kids, and I'm not talking about giving to their adult kids, I'm talking about at the expense of the self and to those that, the marriage, you know, those types of things. Children need food, they need water, they need shelter, they need structure, they need to know when to go to bed, they need to know when to take a shower, they need to know when to brush their teeth, they need to know these things. And, you know, a lot of times we don't put forth the effort with ourselves or our spouses that we do with our children. So we create our own toxic world. We create our own toxic environment. We create our own poison, and we choose that poison, and then we choose to drink that poison, and we wonder why life sucks. All these things are happening around us. It was never like this before. It's always been like this. It has always been like this. Not what's been going on for a year and a half, 2 years, but it's always been like this. And we can choose to live in this state of toxic sludge, or we could transcend that toxicity. Again, it's not bypassing. It's you owe yourself. You owe yourself health. You owe your immune system. You owe your family you being healthy. You owe your spouse your integrity and the respect that you will listen to their needs as much as you do your own wants. You owe nature the respect of treating it appropriately. And all that comes from within. And we must align with our health, and we do that, our wellness, and we do that by living in a state of joyous gratitude. Joyous gratitude. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up. I wanted just to highlight the two sides and your choice, and with what's going on in the world today, you get a choice of whether you live in the drama or you transcend the drama and you find peace within your own space and your own experience. I find peace in myself, and I find peace in what I do, and I find peace in my marriage. And there are always going to be infiltrators that try to pop the bubble of happiness, and that's just them. They're triggered. They have their own negative. They're riding this wave down here. They don't like them up here, so they're going to do whatever they can to try and pull me down. And I've transcended that. So I mean, it's like a mosquito, really. It's you slap it and brush it off. Sometimes you get a little itch, but they're not going to harm you if you don't let them. Or you could treat them like hornets, and they sting and sting and sting and sting, and you swell up, and sometimes you get so sick and you die. It's because you've chosen to live on that frequency. You chose to live with the hornets. The hornets become mosquitoes as you transcend. They really do, and that's kind of a rudimentary way to look at it. But those big, old, nasty, killing hornets that are all around you, that are swarming you, and you have to hide, they become superfluous mosquitoes as you transcend. The storms, the hurricanes blow shit around you. You don't even care. You're not drawn in by it. You don't care about someone else's emotional drama. And it's not that you don't feel for the planet. It's that you're not going to let their toxicity. You're not going to let their toxicity get in your drink. You're going to keep your water pure, and their poison doesn't have a place in your water. And you're going to drink your water, and you're going to nourish yourself with your water, and you're going to be refreshed and hydrated, and have energy, and there's vitality because we're made up of so much water. What is it, 70 to 90% water? And we're going to drink that water, and we're going to be refreshed. We're not going to let poison get in our water. We're not going to drink it if we know poison is in the water. So why would you allow other people to poison your happiness that comes from within anyway? And that's something to reflect on, because we make the choices in our life to be drama. We make the choices in our life to be sick, and that's a hard one for people to comprehend. We make the choices in our life to attach to things, and therefore we end up with attachments and suffering, because when those attachments are gone, we think we're happy. We think this person makes us happy. We think this house makes us happy. We think this boat makes us happy. We think this town makes us happy, so we have to stay there. We got family here. We can't leave because all of our family lives here, and we're suffering in the town. We hate it. We hate that our husband is a floozy, and he's slept with everyone in the town, and you have to visualize these people all the time, and it's not happy. You're not happy. It's not that you're not happy. It's that you aren't living in a space of joyous gratitude. You're either joyously grateful for all those things around you, or you're not grateful and you're not happy. So I ask you to sit and reflect on whether you are creating in your life, in your present, in your marriage, in your job, relationship with your kids, relationship with yourself, a space of toxicity. Are you irritated, upset, frustrated, angry, um, overwhelmed, stressed out? Are you, do you feel sick all the time? You find yourself always having allergy attacks, and you're always coughing and always sneezing and always not feeling good, and your energy levels are low, and all those things that operate, it's all part of being in that toxic space. Is that you? You know, are you turning to alcohol in the evenings when you get home from work because you just had a horrible day and I just need a drink? Or are you turning to the pipe? You know, I need to get a token or two because holy shit, what a day. This is the worst week ever. This is the worst month ever. For too long, it's the worst life ever. And you've become addicted to weed every single day. You become addicted to alcohol every single day. Or conversely, are you living in a space of joyous gratitude? Are you coming home and are you saying, I'm you know what, I'm grateful that I had that interaction with that person today because that taught me a valuable lesson? Are you grateful? I'm grateful that I spoke what I feel, and I don't normally speak what I feel, but this is really, really strong for me and I need you to respect it. Are you grateful for that? You know, and maybe the other person is grateful you finally spoke up and they're like, okay, she's serious because she doesn't normally do this. Maybe you come home and the house is quiet and you can relax, or you can get in your cuddly bed, or, you know, maybe you're grateful that you've had 18, 17, 10, 14 years with your pet who just passed away. You could either live in a space of sadness and I wish I had this dog back, or gratitude. I'm so grateful for those years with that animal. I'm so grateful for what I learned with that dog, my pet, whatever the dog's name is, whatever the cat's name is, whatever the bird, the lizard, whatever you have. You know me, my boys are all over the planet, and I'm so grateful they are living their lives, and I get to talk to them periodically, some by text, some by telegram, some by messenger, you know, some I get a phone call. It just depends, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful, you know, they range in ages from 19 to 30, so I'm grateful for all their experiences and what they're doing and where they're going, and I'm not putting my negativity on them because I don't have any negativity towards them. I'm not scared. One of them's getting deployed. I'm not scared. I'm grateful he is such a strong man, because I'm grateful for those relationships with them as they are, and I've never tried to control those relationships. So I don't have toxic relationships with them. They may have toxic relationships with other people. I don't have those. So are you living in a space of are you nourishing your body? Are you putting good, clean, live water into your body and filtering out all those toxic metals? Because toxicity is also from within what we eat. And, you know, or like I said, are you addicted to Chick-fil-A and Panda Express? Or are you sitting down and making whole meals, at least periodically? I mean, at least, you know, weekly, and salads and all this good stuff that's nourishing for your body, and drinking the water, not the beer. You know, you are choosing to be toxic, or you are choosing to be in a state of joy and joyous gratitude. And when you're in joy and joyous gratitude every day, you can't help but live in peace, no matter what's going on around you. So I'm going to end there. If you like the video, click the like, little thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. We've got a lot of different things, not only in past, but we have some things coming down the pipeline. If you have a lot of time, you can go back and watch from our first video all the way to where we are now. It's kind of fun to see us grow over the course of, you know, over a year. And like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to know how to get out of being toxic. If you think you're toxic, if you find that you're living in all this drama, leave a comment. I typically respond to the females, just because women have more emotional outlooks on things, and the Apache, if it's a man's journey and he's like, dude, I'm just trying to figure out how to get out of this toxicity, he'll respond to you with his amazing wisdom. So, like, subscribe if you want to. You can follow our other venues. We have a podcast, and we have a blog and a Facebook page. So, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you later.